All right, so there's just two things I want to cover today until some other things come up. So, yesterday, Parliament was sworn in for the first time, the new Parliament, with a lot of MPs getting sworn in. I don't know, I think the new ones will be being sworn in later today. The old ones did it yesterday, we had to do their ritual thing. So, this is the new Parliament today. So, hundreds of new UK lawmakers are sworn in as Parliament returns after a dramatic election. This is the Associated Press. Hundreds of newly elected lawmakers trooped excitedly into Parliament on Tuesday after the UK's transformative election brought a Labour government to power. The halls of a labyrinthine, whatever that means, building echoed with excited chatter of the 650 members of the House of Commons, 335 of them arriving for the first time. That compares to 140 new lawmakers after the last election in 2019. The seat of British democracy took on a back-to-school feel from the rows of lockers temporarily installed in wood-painted corridors to the staff holding "Ask Me" signs ready to help bewildered newcomers. The new House of Commons included the largest number of women ever elected. Well, nice. 263, some 40% of the total, and the most lawmakers of colour at 90. The youngest new lawmaker is Labour's Sam Carling, 22. He is one of 412 Labour legislators elected last week who are crammed onto green benches on the government side of the House of Commons. Opposite them will be a shrunken contingent of 121 Conservatives, the lowest ever, a vastly increased number of Liberal Democrats, 72 strong, the highest ever for them, and a smattering of representatives from other parties, including the environmentalist Green Party and the Anti-Immigration Reform UK. Yeah, so you've got 4 new Green MPs and 5 Reform. Even as the newcomers arrived, lawmakers who lost their seats last week were carting away the contents of the offices in boxes and suitcases. So the first job was election a speaker. First task for lawmakers election a speaker to oversee the business of the House of Commons and try to keep the often unruly assembly in line. The Speaker is chosen from the ranks of lawmakers and sets his or her party affiliation aside while they fill their impartial role. Impartially. Lindsay Hoyle, originally elected for Labour to the Speaker's post in 2019, was re-elected unopposed. Of course he was. He promised lawmakers he would continue to be fair, impartial, and independent. Yeah, right. Like last time when he was impartial, like during the SNP amendment, that boxed amendment for the ceasefire, and not letting Diane Abbott speak in PMQs that time, and apparently going trips to Israel as well. In keeping with tradition, the Speaker feigned reluctance and was dragged to the Speaker chair by colleagues. It's really just silly tradition, isn't it? Like the black rod, a custom dating to the days when speakers could be sentenced to death if they displeased the monarch. Really. After tributes from party leaders, including Prime Minister Keir Starmer, you should get the Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Conservative leader Rishi Sunak, the Speaker-elect was taken to the House of Lords by an official known as the Black Rod to receive royal approbation, the formal approval of King Charles III. Starmer said all lawmakers had a responsibility to put an end to politics that has too often seemed self-serving and self-obsessed, and to replace the politics of performances with politics of service. Yeah, that black rod thing that seems really outdated. You know, we was knocked on the door with a rod. Black rod, open the door! And all these old clothes, and that's really silly. Anyway, Sunak, fresh off the Conservatives' crushing election defeat, agreed that in our politics we can argue vigorously, as the Prime Minister and I did over the past 6 weeks, but still respect each other. Mm-hmm. Yes, we that speech when he was leader of the opposition. It was It's like a completely different person. Swearing in. With the Speaker in place, lawmakers were sworn in one by one, taking an oath of allegiance to the King and his heirs and successors. That included Prince Andrew. Members can swear on a religious text of their choice or make a non-religious affirmation. They must take the oath in English first and can repeat it in Welsh, Ulster Scots, Irish Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic, or Cornish. The longest-serving lawmakers, Conservative Edward Lee and Labour's Diane Abbott, known as the father and mother of the House, were sworn in first. Imagine it was Jeremy Corbyn as father of the House. That was almost close. Followed by the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, senior members of the official opposition, and then remaining lawmakers in order of length of service. There are also 7 lawmakers from Irish Nationalist Party Sinn Féin who refuse to swear loyalty to the Crown and do not take their seats to protect UK control over Northern Ireland. After all MPs are sworn in, a task expected to take several days, the House of Commons will rise until July the 17th. Will rise. When a new session will formally start, with the state opening of Parliament. The new government will set out its legislative plans for the coming year in a speech read by the King from atop a golden throne. Then it's all in his special clothes. It'll be the first one, it'll be the King and not Queen Elizabeth. First, because this is the first new one. The King's speech is expected to include plans to establish a publicly owned green power company. Is it really green? Called Great British Energy. Change planning rules to allow more new homes and to build nationalise Britain's delay-plagued railways. Yeah, renationalise all the railways. That was a plan a few years ago. Why didn't you vote for it? Holding the government to account will be a much reduced Conservative Party led, temporarily at least, by Sunak. Yeah, it will probably be Kenny Badenoch for leader. The former Prime Minister will serve as leader of the opposition until the party picks a replacement. Yeah, a few things about this. Can I look at this? Hold on, I'm going to see how long was. So we had all the party leaders speaking up. So there are a few things to note. So I think it was the DEP leader. He mentioned Londonderry. And then I think it was the SDLP leader, Colin Meater. He's like, Derry. That was quite funny. And then Nigel Farage, he's an absolute dick, just slagging off John Bercow, calling him the little man. So yeah, he's a twat. As per usual, and everyone just groaning at him. He's going to be a bastard. He is. He's right at the back where he belongs instead of at the front. He thinks he's going to be the main leader of the opposition. He's not. He's not going to do anything. Yeah. So, next week is the state opening of Parliament. I'm not sure when the first PMQs is. I may live stream that or at least comment on it. I don't know yet. And one other thing I want to talk about. Suella Braverman. What an evil bitch. Evil. I think she said lately. Suella Braverman's divisive politics makes her unfit to be leader, says Tory mayor. What a few people are saying that. Opposition among senior Tories grows after her ex-Home Secretary derives Progress Pride flag. Progress Pride flag. It's the first time I've heard it being called out. Flag being flown over the Home Office. Suella Braverman's divisive right-wing politics makes her unsuitable to lead the Conservative Party, Ben Houghton, the Tory Tees Valley mayor, has said. Amid a backlash after the former Home Secretary said her party had been too liberal. Well, like Keir Starmer saying Sunak has been too liberal on immigration. A series of other Conservative figures attacked Braverman after she used a speech in the US to describe the Progress Pride flag as a monstrous thing. She's the monster, saying she was angered when it was flown over the Home Office against her will. Oh, fuck off. People like you are making me angry. Our problem to us, she told the National Conservatism Conference in Washington, D.C., our problem is that the liberal conservatives who trashed the Tory party think it was everyone's fault but their own. My party governed as liberals and we were defeated as liberals. Really, you're not liberal. There's nothing liberal about the Rwanda bill. There's nothing liberal about the DUP work capability assessments. There's nothing liberal about austerity and everything. But seemingly as ever, it is Conservatives who are to blame. You are to blame. You're to blame for everything that's gone on for the past 14 years. She added, what the progress flag says to me is one monstrous thing that I was a member of the government that presided over the mutilation of children in our hospitals and from our schools. What's that got to do with the pride flag and LGBT? Just blah, 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 blah. Her comment appears to be an allusion to the prescribing of puberty blockers or to other medical procedures undergone by some people as they transition, though most are not available for children. Such comments and Braverman's wider pitch to the party, if, as expected, she joins the contest to succeed Rishi Sunak, has angered some Conservatives, and she has lost the support of many MPs on the Tory right. She might have expected to back her. She's even more right-wing. She's going to reform. Hampton told Times Radio, I don't think it's a credible offering, and the MPs and the members that I speak to are not interested in the divisive right-wing politics of Suella Braverman. If a Conservative Party decides to go down the route of somebody like Suella Braverman, then we can absolutely see ourselves in opposition for generations to come. If even now it will be Lib Dems in opposition, you'll be down to 0 seats, which it should have been in this election. Braverman's speech on Monday night was condemned by Ian Dale, a radio presenter and a former Conservative candidate. Well, attempted Conservative candidate. He didn't even get to the ballot box. He said, what a disgusting speech, and seriously thinks he has a chance of leading the Conservative Party. Not while I have breath left in my body. Moderate Conservatives need to stand up and be counted. This will not stand. Another Conservative candidate, Casey Byrne, has said he had written to Sunak asking him to expel Braverman from the party. Yeah. Will's my voice does not matter alone. I urge all decent people to speak up too. He won't expel her because he put her back as Home Secretary. This cannot be allowed to go on without consequences, he wrote on Twitter. Braverman is expected to run for the Conservative leadership, though she is believed to be losing support to Robert Jenrick, a former immigration minister who will run on a hardline anti-immigration platform. Really? Danny Kruger, an influential backbencher on the Tory right, don't know who that is, has already shifted his support from Braverman to Jenrick. It is understood that another senior MP from this ring of the party, John Hayes, whoever that is, has done the same. Speaking on Tuesday from Washington to a post-election event in the UK held by the popular conservatism group Popular, really, Braverman criticised what he called the lunatic woke virus working its way through the British states. Yeah. What was it we said before? Guardian reading, tofu eating wokerati. Yeah. And this is the Guardian article. And I eat tofu. Braverman said Reform UK proposed an existential threat to the Conservatives, saying there's space in British politics for only one Conservative party. Even worse than the Conservatives. She and Reform said Reform could be combated only if the Tories pledged policies such as the withdrawal from the European Convention of Human Rights and repealing the Equality Act and human rights. Yeah, he wants to get rid of all that as well. Absolutely, that would be disastrous. Only 2 European countries are not in the ECHR, Russia and Belarus. And Belarus is also the only European country which has first past the post. Which he said would allow a government to properly tackle immigration among other issues, and yet other issues like human rights. Other speakers at the event urged Conservatives to not respond to defeat by moving to the centre. David Frost, the former Brexit negotiator, said Sunak's government had followed the collective zeitgeist, whatever that means, leftwards. No, it's not left at all. And presented policies that were a flabby mishmash of sub-socialist ideas. No, there's nothing socialist about the Tories whatsoever. Another speaker, Jacob Rees-Mogg, who lost his seat last week, thank fuck, told reporters as he left the event that the party should not rush into a leadership decision. Okay, really? There's plenty of time, he said. There's not going to be an election until May 2028 if things are going well for Labour, and June 29 if they're not. So you don't need to rush or panic. The first stage of the contest took place on Tuesday evening when the veteran backbencher Bob Blackman, whoever that is, was elected as chair of the 1922 committee, which represents Tory MPs and organised the leadership races. Blackman received 61 MP votes and Geoffrey Clifton Brown received 37. Amid some reported annoyance that people have been turned away after being told the incorrect voting time. Really? Yeah, she's speaking of the Tories leadership. Let's come on. Let's have a little quick look. Yeah, Tory leadership race. Braverman bid dead before it starts. Yeah, as you just found out because of what he's saying. As party could take months to replace Sunak. Really. The race to replace Rishi Sunak as Tory leader is unofficially underway in the wake of the Conservative Party's wipeout of the general election, with some frontrunners casting the contest as a battle for the soul of the Conservative Party after Nigel Farage's hard right reform UK inflicted losses of Tories in a scores of seats. Ex-Minister Colin Hohenreich is among those to suggest the race could last until the end of the year, really, adding, I don't think there is any rush. While no candidate has yet been formally announced a bid, so whether Braverman's hopes were dealt an early blow, as source described the twice-sacked Home Secretary's campaign to the Times as dead before it even started, accusing her that you're going too hard too soon. Hard is an understatement. Came as a multiple report suggests right-wing MP Danny Kruger would support Robert Jenrick, further diminishing Mr. Braverman's hopes of being the flag bearer of the Tory right. Yeah, Miss Braverman, Serena Braverman, she's an absolutely hateful the Pride flag and ECHR, everything. Yeah, she's evil. Other possible Tory leadership race contenders of the party's right wing include Kemi Badenoch. I think she's going to win it. And Priti Patel, maybe. While James Cleverly, Jeremy Hunt, who's dropped out, Tom Dukenhart, and Victoria Atkins are among the more moderate figures who could launch bids. Kemi Badenoch has reportedly used Rishi Sunak's first shadow cabinet meeting to criticise his election campaign. At the meeting on Tuesday, the Shadow Housing Secretary hit out at the former Prime Minister's decision to call an early general election without informing his cabinet. Okay, describing his move as a mistake and boarding as unconstitutional. She accused Mr. Sunak of instead first telling a small group of colleagues, including his parliamentary private secretary Craig Williams, who she said is to have called a buffoon after he admitted placing a bet on the election date. Another betting scandal as well, yeah. The Times reported Mrs. Badenoch is concerned the enormity of the Conservative Party's landslide defeat is not being grasped by some colleagues, and that she is undergoing a post-mortem with lessons to be learned. Mrs. Badenoch is said to have called Mr. Sunak's decision to leave D-Day commemoration early disastrous. Yeah, that was a big thing. That was a big, what's the word? Anyway, a big thing to get them to lose. Virgin colleagues such as Penny Mordaunt would have kept her seats if she had stayed longer in France. The Tory party, they deleted their account. The Conservative Party's official account on Twitter is still Twitter, has been deleted. It's back now, but at the time it was deleted. The removal came on Monday, a few days after the Tories suffered a landslide defeat to Labour in the general election. Yeah. Yeah, these are all the MPs who lost their seats. So you've got, Penny Mordaunt, Grant Shapps. I don't know who this is. See his face looks familiar. Gillian Keegan, Johnny Mercer. Somebody's faces I recognise the name, but yeah. Penny Mordaunt, Jacob Rees-Mogg, Liz Truss as well, yeah. Liz Truss, she's paid Portier at the moment. Yeah, David Cameron, he's not going to be part of the cabinet anymore. Lord Ben Huchon said reactionary politics is not the answer. Yeah, like Swedish problem. He's more than reactionary. She wants to join reform. Wants Nigel Farage back in the Tory party. Okay, so I think yeah. So I think that's it for now. Yeah, so that's it. So the Parliament's back. All the MPs been signed in. You have the first speeches from all the party leaders. And now the Tory leadership's going to still going on, and it's stuff about Braverman, she's evil. And you got the thing going on in Russia with the children's hospital, which is absolutely disgusting, which I spoke about yesterday. So yeah, so that's it for today. So I'll probably see you later.